Welcome to Pop-O-Holics, the hot show about takes. Shower than pancakes. Whatever, that works. If this is your first time to Pop-O-Holics, welcome. Have a seat. We talk about all things pop culture. You've reached a weekly upload, and I'm your host, Christian, and I'm joined by my two best friends.
Chris Conkling.
And Brian Dupree.
And what do we do on the show? Well, for this weekly upload, we're going into Brian's Wacky News Corner. Got a lot of news. We list and talk a little bit about the upcoming releases in movies and TV, mostly. And then we have a special quick hit section, which we normally come together to talk about the individual things that we've been watching. But we all saw The Eternals, so we're going to have a bonus video episode that's separate from this one, where we cover The Eternals in all its spoilerific details. And then exclusively for audio feed listeners, we will be having our community feedback corner. So, very excited to have you here. Let's get things rolling, and we're going to dive right into Brian's Wacky News Corner.
Welcome back, everyone. So, I think this is going to be good news for most people and hopefully a step forward in the industry for streaming. But as of the release of this, on Disney Plus, there are 13 Marvel movies that are now available in what they're calling IMAX Enhanced, where 26% more of the full IMAX screen is shown. So with the release of Dune on streaming recently, I don't know if you guys had seen that there were some pretty stark cutoffs in some of the bigger scenes where half ships were just missing from the screen. And it's something that you obviously wouldn't notice for the most part, having not seen it in the bigger format. But with more and more things filming in IMAX, especially these giant blockbusters, I think this is a good step forward. And I'm interested to see what this is going to look like functionally on my TV. So in terms of the movies that are going to be released here, we have Shang-Chi, Iron Man, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, Captain America Civil War, Doctor Strange, Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, Avengers Endgame, and Black Widow. So a nice chunk there, presumably with more to come as they continue this. But how do you guys feel about Disney Plus trying to bring the IMAX screen home?
I think this is great news. You know, as the landscape is beginning to change with the pandemic, more people staying at home and streaming content instead of going to theaters, I think this is a great step forward for streaming in particular. The three of us had very different theatrical experiences when we went to see Eternals that I'm sure we're going to talk about later on. But
yes,
I think this is excellent. You know, how many people are actually going to be able to take full advantage of this? I'm not sure. Will the IMAX ratio be as impacting as it is on an IMAX screen? Definitely not. But in terms of seeing as much as the filmmakers wanted you to see in the shot, this is a step forward. Now, how are audiences going to react to this? I also have no idea, considering that a lot of people went to watch Zack Snyder's Justice League, and his intent was like, I want to show you more vertically. And everyone was like, get these fucking black bars off the side of my screen. So it's going to change how the image looks on individual televisions. So I'm very interested to see how the general public kind of consumes these new versions of the films and if they like them or not. But I'm really excited to test it out. The good news is Disney Plus isn't solely just like replacing these films with the IMAX Enhanced versions. You'll still be able to watch the standard widescreen. But you know, for those that have, you know, semi-upgraded entertainment systems at home, like this is an exciting prospect, I think. Christian, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think a lot of the streaming services have issues with formatting the screen aspect ratio, and it needs to have a better consistency for stuff that has different aspect ratios. Don't you dare bring up Zack Snyder. I almost said Justice Snyder's.
I was going to say, we have someone here who felt very strongly about those black bars.
No, I did, because he ported it to a streaming service in which it was the most unoptimized format for modern televisions. Like, he alienated 99.9% of everybody's TV.
I gotta say though, vertical.
Well, vertical. If you were publishing it
cutting edge,
you know, there's a company
it's
called.
It's just for TikTok.
There's a company
for
called Tubi. I don't know if you know what happened to Tubi, but they were like, "Hey, not Tubi, Quibi." God, these freaking names.
Yeah, Tubi's still around.
Quibi tried this, and I think where they failed is, I mean, it wasn't great timing because they launched it during a pandemic. They're like, it'll be for little quick bites on the go, and it's like everybody was like, we're home. So
where are we going?
It was very bad timing, but also they did not commit to the vertical aspect ratio. They said, when you turn your phone, it'll be different. It's like, how's a filmmaker supposed to be like, I'm shooting it for 2 different aspect ratios? So it had a lot of faults there. But yes, if everybody was watching it in a vertical video app where there was other vertical content, that would make sense. However, this is going mostly on 16:9 displays, which can fill more than the typical aspect ratio of film with the black bars. So do it up. I'm glad there's options. I'm glad it's an optional thing and it won't just like mess up people's stuff. Give us more options. Have an aspect ratio little gear icon and let us pick the aspect ratio that's right for us. Why not?
Yeah, always going to be a fan of more options, especially with high quality stuff like this. So yeah, check that out on Disney Plus if you're a subscriber. I'm sure one of us will be testing it out and talking about it as it happens. It's tomorrow for us as of recording, a little behind the pod. Moving into some other news. So Peter Jackson is selling his company Weta Digital's VFX tech division to a company called Unity Software for $1.625 billion. So this is a combination of cash and stock, but giant money. So this is the studio behind Gollum from Lord of the Rings, behind Caesar from the Planet of the Apes, and many more. And is some of the most cutting edge stuff out there, as I'm sure my co-host will talk about.
Brian, hold on. This just in. Peter Jackson has just bought New Zealand. He owns all of New Zealand now. Fun.
I trust him with it. You probably do all right.
Seems as though New Zealand is now being advertised as its own studio. Very strange.
So it's interesting because this is being sold as a democratization of this technology in some sense. So Unity is planning to make this available through a cloud-based workflow, software as a service pricing. So basically, you'll be able to use the software for a period of time, and presumably at a fraction of the costs it would be to own and use this otherwise. In practice, we'll see if this actually turns out to be the case. At $1.6 billion, it's hard to fathom anything on a human level with that kind of deal happening. But I'm hopeful that this can kind of democratize access to VFX in a real way, at my most idealistic.
You too now can have your own Planet of the Apes. Surround yourself with humanoid-looking ape creatures with the touch of a button for only $79.99 a month.
Christian, have you been reading my diaries again?
I have.
This is not cool.
Well, you put them in our shared show notes, which is a terrible place for your diaries.
Yeah, we didn't want to say anything.
That means
they
James
were too
saw them as
interesting.
well.
They were too interesting to mention that it was happening, so we just let you roll with it.
So Unity is like, it's an interesting company, and I think they do the open source subscription trial model like pretty ethically and well. Unity's mostly known for their game engine. So they have an open source game engine that like you can use. Unreal kind of copied their marketing strategy where you can build a game with Unity and sell it. And you don't actually own Unity anything until it makes like over a certain amount of money. So it's this really like, hey, like start it up, get you. And it's really a smart play to get the most comfortable with your tools. It doesn't have to be the best one. It's the free one that this one, Artur in video games started using, and now he has a hit and they can cash in on that. And that's kind of like where their philosophy is. So if they apply that, I think that's a good model as long as it's fair. The problem is when everybody's using the tool, you have one gatekeeper. And as soon as they're just like, you know what? We love our shareholders so much. Our subscription is now quadruple the cost, which they wouldn't have any competition against doing. So that's the fear of these things. It's in theory good, but again, when you make it one sole pipeline, you do run these risks. So, we'll see.
But at least for the time being, it's an exciting process, sharing out this really powerful tool so more people can use it and be creative and bring their ideas to fruition. Like you said, Brian, the more idealistic side of me says that's excellent, and I'm excited to see this.
No, yeah.
But Christian does bring up a great point, and that down the road things could potentially change. But as of right now, if they're going to continue with this, like we said, idealistic version of a business plan, then I'm all for it. It's exciting.
Yeah, I always fight
makes...
better for pay. I fight more for paying more up front, but I understand how that is gatekeeper in of itself. Like, give me the cost up front rather than like hook me in, get me dedicated, and then start either selling my data or bleeding me dry the other way, like other companies that I'm not going to mention here for various reasons. I think I always like the business model of pay for what you get and you have it, right? I want to pay $1,000 to have Weta Suite and that's it. But I understand how that also is problematic. So I will admit that. But again, to all my concerns before.
Yeah, it depends on really who they're trying to market to.
Everybody.
You know, if they're marketing to other studios and other visual effects houses that could potentially pay, $1,000 licensing fee right off the bat at launch, then that's fine.
No,
but if they're also trying to be like, I want to get the average Joe to test out these tools.
No, it's literally,
it
we hope in 15 years when you go to search to hire an animator, the only thing they know how to use is the Weta free software. And that is the most skilled labor force with the best results. And then once, they have these, they're like, it's free until you make $1 million. Who cares? But these big studios will end up bearing a huge part of this cost because all their animators and visual effects artists use this software. Mm-hmm. So it's a very intelligent play that does open, again, there's an actual benefit is that Joe Schmo, who doesn't have a whole lot of opportunity, can just dive right in and start going, and that gives them opportunity to get hired. It is, I believe, a very smart and strategic market play. And I'd say if I owned fucking Unity, I'd do the same goddamn thing. It's brilliant. It's really smart.
So this, I'm sure, will be taking place over a long time and isn't officially locked in yet. We'll probably be locked in at some time by the end of the year. But it'll be interesting to see how this plays out and how it affects the industry long term. So moving into some movie news explicitly, Leonardo DiCaprio is in final talks to produce and star in Jim Jones, the movie. So Jim Jones, the notorious cult leader who led over 900 people in a mass suicide ritual that got caught up in politicians and murders of other people as well. I won't get into it if you don't know much about this story. It's horrifying, truly. But Leonardo DiCaprio, he's one of the greats of his generation, undeniably going to be producing this and starring in it. Yeah, as Jim Jones. Mm-hmm. I'm super excited for this. It's probably a ways down the line at this point. Before this, he's going to be in Killers of the Flower Moon, the latest Martin Scorsese movie, which I'm super excited for, as well as Don't Look Up by Adam McKay, which looks very different for him. So I'm really excited about that one as well. But yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio is Jim Jones. What are you guys' feelings about this? I just want to say I've seen a lot of great memes online making this. There's a rapper called Jim Jones who there's been a bunch of great memes. Look those up of Leo as Jim Jones, the rapper. But how do you guys feel about this?
Despite the real world events, I'm excited for this movie. I think Leonardo DiCaprio is, dude. Yeah, I'm excited, dude. Leonardo DiCaprio is charismatic enough to play a cult leader. What I'm most interested to find out is what the perspective is going to be. Are we going to be following Jim Jones in the film? Are we going to be following, a government agent infiltrating the cult? Because that did happen during the cult's existence. Like, who's going to be our main character? Is it going to be more of a Judas and the Black Messiah type of story where, like, in that story, really, Lakeith Stanfield was our main character and we're kind of watching through his eyes? So I'm very intrigued to see what the approach is for this movie, because you don't want to kind of put a cult leader like Jim Jones up on a pedestal. So how are they going to handle this situation? But I'm interested to see.
Yeah, it's very weird because in the beginning, eventually they moved outside of the United States where to Guyana, where the ultimate suicide took place. Before that, they were kind of like a hippie haven, like a socialist hippie haven. It's very strange. And obviously, as these things do, quickly devolved into, if it was anything potentially or minimally good in the beginning, it very quickly devolved into this crazed power thing where he identified as God ultimately. And, just insane. But I think there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff to go into there. And like you said, Chris, it's going to be very cool to see what perspective this comes from. It's actually, which may not sound great to you guys, but the writer of this actually wrote Venom as well, the original Venom movie. But he also did the latest Jumanji movies, as well as High Fidelity, Gone in 60 Seconds. So he's got a decent...
Or success. I mean, what am I saying? They're all successes. Venom was a success regardless.
Yeah, this is Scott Rosenberg, yeah. So, yeah, that's Leonardo DiCaprio going to be starring as Jim Jones at some point in the future. All right, moving into some stuff that is coming out this week. On Wednesday, we have Tiger King Season 2 coming to Netflix. I am probably the one person on the face of the planet who never actually watched all of Tiger King. I saw like half of one episode when my old roommate was watching it. My old roommates were watching it. But this follows Oklahoma-based private zoo owner Joe Exotic, who I believe at this point is in prison. Correct. Within the context of this narrative and real life, and big cat rights activist Carol Baskin, who Christian and I grew up literally a mile and a half from Big Cat Rescue that she owns and operates.
That I'd never heard of it before too, which is what's crazy. I imagine
absolutely wild.
I think one of my friends volunteered there, but like that's like a vague memory. But yeah, it's
probably
seeing the drone shots. I was like, oh, that's Waters. That's Hills. Yeah. Okay, all right, I see where that's at. It was very strange.
So that's going to be very, very interesting to see. I feel like for those people who love Tiger King, immediately when it's on Netflix, they'll see it and watch it. But Tiger King 2 will be on Netflix this Wednesday.
I do want to say really quick about Tiger King Season 2. This is such a fucking money grab. I can't even believe it.
It looks
because of the success
so
of
much like
1.
reality television. I haven't seen the first season, but it seems even more kind of manufactured than the first season looked.
You are dead on. Like, I have a feeling that's exactly what it's going to be. And truth be told, that's not as interesting to me as the original Tiger King was, because you had these people who were seemingly kind of like in their natural elements, hamming it up for camera maybe a little bit, but overall
some of them under false pretenses,
themselves.
Right? I think exactly. Carol Baskin is trying to sue for around Season 2 right now.
Season 2. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's very transparent that this is just for money because of the success of the Tiger King Season 1. But I'm actually really interested to see how this Season 2 does, considering that we are not in the state that we were in as a country when that first season aired. People are going out again. They're not trapped in their houses trying to find something to binge watch. So I don't know if the season's going to be as successful as the first season. Christian, are you going to watch this second season?
I am giddy with anticipation because I think that it has potential to go into some interesting stuff because of where Tiger King is in the zeitgeist. Are they going to do any of that stuff? Probably not. So my expectations are very low, but I think that it's
probably smart.
I've said this about a lot of things, and it's a bad take. I'm sorry. I know you come here for the hottest takes. Hotter than hot tasty pancakes, but it's either going to be really good or it's going to be really bad. I know that's not original, that's not very nuanced, but I do think that like
Christian of the Pop-O-Holics says it's either going to be really good or really bad.
I really don't
Toss
think
it
there's
on the poster.
I think certain projects there's not a middle ground. And for Tiger King Season 2, I don't foresee it being like, whatever, good hangout, it's fine to watch. You know, I see it as being like horrible or wow, they really did something special with the opportunity they had, with the eyeballs they had, and the attention to what Tiger King was in a commentary on Tiger King itself and what that means and the kind of people they are. Does it dive deeper into discovering these people? Does it actually put in the legwork? Or is it, the Tiger King saying stupid shit and just, saying, Carol Baskin's a bitch, a lot, and just playing that joke over and over again, which is going to be bad if they do that, but I don't know.
Well, I guess we will definitely be finding out soon with Tiger King Season 2 coming to Netflix Wednesday. something else that's coming out for streaming Wednesday, Marvel's Hit Monkey is coming to Hulu. So I know we had MODOK, which I watched part of, was not a big fan of, but I know Chris really enjoyed.
I didn't enjoy it. What are you talking about?
Christian actually
enjoyed it.
Enjoyed it. It was the surprise sleeper hit from Christian. And
I said,
yeah, we've got
I
another
thought it
one.
was fine. I never revisited it, but I did not hate that it was on.
But his opinion was so drastically more positive than ours, Brian, that it seemed like he was gushing about it.
I didn't think it was that bad in comparison to like Robot Chicken. So
I apologize for dragging this up incorrectly. Nonetheless, but yeah, Marvel's Hit Monkey is coming to Hulu this Wednesday. The conceit behind this show: a vengeful Japanese snow monkey and the ghost of an American assassin cut down Tokyo's underworld. So this is an adult animated TV show created by Will Speck and Josh Gordon and based on Marvel Comics of the same name. It is produced by Marvel Television, and the star Hit Monkey is played by Fred Tatasciore. I apologize about pronunciation there, as well as Jason Sudeikis, George Takei, Olivia Munn, and Ali Mackey. This will have, Yes, as well as starring Nobi Nakanishi. So the ad for this show, it's exactly what it is, and the monkey seems to not talk, and we get all the dialogue through the ghost assassin. But it seems like it could be a lot of fun. I'm not sure if it will actually work long term outside. How long can you have a main character who never speaks? But I know with shows like Avatar, some of the nonverbal characters end up becoming some of your favorites because of how well characterized they are. So I think this is something that can be done well. And yeah, Marvel's Hit Monkey. It'll be on Hulu this Wednesday.
Hold on, we got to get Chris. Hit Monkey. Excited?
Oh, I'm definitely going to check out the first episode. Are you kidding me? Jason Sudeikis as a ghost assassin embodying an assassin monkey? Fuck yeah. I'm there.
All right, let's.
Now, I also said that for MODOK. So we'll see how this show is.
And Christian comes back and says, "It's fine. I'm never going to watch it again."
All right, so moving on to another streamer. Cowboy Bebop is coming out on Friday on Netflix. So this is a remake of the original animated show and follows a ragtag crew of bounty hunters who chase down the galaxy's most dangerous criminals. They'll save the world for the right price. So I gotta say, the advertisements and trailers for this look pretty phenomenal. I was never a big fan of the original Cowboy Bebop. I've seen probably 3 or 4 episodes and never watched the entirety of it. But this stars John Cho, Mustafa Shakir, Daniela Pineda, and many more, and is developed by Andre Nemec. And it just has vibes. The trailer before the last official trailer that came out used the boundaries between I don't know how to describe it. Basically, what looks like comics boundaries as narratives with action.
The panel lines.
Yes, the panels. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. And it was just so ridiculously inventive, so much fun, and clearly, like one episode is like framed around this plot device being used. But then the other trailer itself came out, and it looked a little more standard, but still like a whole lot of fun. So Cowboy Bebop, never got into the animated one, but I'm definitely going to be checking out at least the first episode or 2 on Netflix this Friday.
I'd say probably one of the more, if you don't mind, Brian, sorry, one of the more
no, go ahead.
Anticipated things we've seen from Netflix in a long time. You know, Netflix historically has just vomited, diarrheaed, if you will, content out of the bungholes. Wow. And it automatically plays now, which is, by the way, the most... I can't stand it. They're like, TikTok does it, so we'll do it. Which is just you turn on Netflix and it's immediately like, dun, 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 and you're just like, okay, I have to keep moving, or else we're done, or else I'm gonna have to listen to.
It's miserable. I have to mute. It's so bad.
It just
really is awful.
It just tries to wrap you in as soon as possible. And so, but what they've succeeded in is just like, oh, the thing about an Irish girl who gets lost at sea and there's a murder mystery, like, fine, you know, and people are like, oh, fine, you know, on to the next thing, you know, because of all the diarrhea that they have.
That's the sound of
That's the noise that
clicking
the
and
remote
diarrheaing
And
at the same time.
And occasionally just sifting through all the poop, all the stinky poop, and you're like, oh, a Squid Game. And people are like,
This is the type of gooey feedback that Netflix is really looking for. I want my experience to be like wading through shit in search of a pearl.
It's funny because I really respect De Facto Sound. They do the 20,000 Hertz soundtrack. Dallas Taylor, shout out to him. He's a great podcaster, super professional. All his stuff's really great. His company, De Facto Sound, does all the trailer audio mixing. So it's good. It's just really in your face, right? It's like very loud. Anyway, the point is, Netflix is just throwing everything at the wall and buying all this international stuff, throwing it at your face, and hopefully you like it. Cowboy Bebop is the first time since, I think, Stranger Things Season 2, or maybe like the Michael Bay movie, where they're trying to like amp it up, and obviously there's a lot of fan love for this, but like this is a rare time in which I'm like, oh, some property's coming to Netflix that I'm excited about. They normally don't have that kind of, especially with an anime, historically live action anime, everybody's like, oh, it's gonna suck.
Terrible.
It has.
Yeah.
But this has good juju behind it, It's coming.
Something's there.
People are excited. Chris is excited.
So, yeah,
I'm excited,
we're all
dude.
excited. It looks great. That's Cowboy Bebop coming to Netflix on Friday. All right, I'm going to try and fly through last TV show. We've talked about it before, so I'll be quick. The Wheel of Time is coming to Prime Video. This is the epic series based off of Robert Jordan's novels. It stars Rosamund Pike, Joshua Stradowski, Marcus Rutherford, Zoe Robbins, Barney Harris, and many more. And it follows Moiraine, a member of a group, a powerful organization of women who can use magic. She takes a group of 5 young people on a journey, believing one of them might be the reincarnation of the Dragon of Prophecy, which is a story we've heard a million times, most recently with Dune, obviously. But these novels are widely acclaimed and have a huge following and plenty of stuff to pull from. So, Amazon Prime, The Wheel of Time will be out on Friday. Moving into some movies, we have the latest Ghostbusters movie, the sequel to Ghostbusters 1 and 2. Follows a single mother and her 2 children who move to a new town and soon discover that they have a connection to the original Ghostbusters and their grandfather's secret legacy. This is directed by Jason Reitman, who co-wrote the screenplay with Gil Keenan, and stars Carrie Coon, Finn Wolfhard, McKenna Grace, and Paul Rudd, with maybe some familiar faces as well that I'm not going to say here. But yeah, I believe it or not, I've seen the original Ghostbusters, revisited it later in life, and had more qualms with it than I did originally on one level, but still really appreciate it on another level. And I've never seen the sequel, so I have to see the sequel. But I'm kind of interested in coming back to the Ghostbusters franchise. I think the first one. Go ahead.
You don't have to see the sequel. It's okay.
You don't have. Okay, all right.
No. The Ghostbusters 2 is notoriously known for the main cast not wanting to make it. They were actually hired under like false pretenses, and when they got to set, the script wasn't exactly what they thought it was going to be.
Interesting.
So it's not as good as the first one, and I actually believe that Afterlife is a direct sequel to the first one. So I don't think you'll need to see the sequel, Brian. I mean, if you're interested, check it out, but it's not as good.
According to Wikipedia, at least, it says it's the sequel to 1 and 2.
Okay. All right. Well,
I'm not sure how much is pulled from the second one, obviously, but yeah.
Surprisingly,
that'll
fun trailer. I'm not a huge Ghostbusters fan. I like it. Brian, me and you watched it several times. And I don't have a ton of love or nostalgia for it. I treat it similarly to Back to the Future, maybe a little higher. I think I like Ghostbusters more than Back to the Future. But I saw the trailer and I'm like, Paul Rudd, can you do no wrong?
I was gonna say,
So
like, how could you go wrong with Papa Paul Rudd on the case?
Oh, so good.
So yeah, that'll be in theaters this Friday. Ghostbusters Afterlife. A couple more that are coming out. King Richard is coming to theaters and HBO Max day and date this Friday. So this follows the father of Venus and Serena Williams, Richard Williams, who and it also follows them as well, follows their family from a young age through the course of their childhoods. And I'm not sure how far this goes, but it's directed by Ronaldo Marcus Green, written by Zach Balin, and stars Will Smith as Richard Williams, as well as Anjanou Ellis, Sania Sidney, and Demi Singleton. This looks like the sort of movie that is right in Will Smith's wheelhouse in terms of powerful, dramatic acting that's going to make us just bawl our eyes out. We have these two legends with Venus and Serena Williams. I'm interested to see how much of the story is ultimately focused on them rather than him. It seems like an interesting take to focus on the father rather than the girls themselves. I'm not sure if the movie will be different in terms of who it highlights. But yeah, this movie seems like it's the kind of thing that could definitely get some Oscar nominations from multiple parties involved and is going to be emotionally powerful and hopefully uplifting as well. You know, obviously an incredible story of two of the world's greatest athletes ever, undeniably. Yeah. So
would you say
that's King Richard.
Would you say it's within Mr. Smith's wheelhouse?
Wow. You know, I definitely would, but that was rough.
Brian actually tweeted something out very similar earlier about the movie.
No, that was a totally different thing. We don't want to search that. All right, moving on. Last movie in the news. We've got Come On, coming to theaters this Friday. So this is another black and white movie. We are in a popular black and white film renaissance, it seems. This is written and directed by Mike Mills, who was nominated for Best Original Screenplay for 20th Century Women in 2016. So acclaimed writer, and stars Joaquin Phoenix, Gabby Hoffman, Scoot McNair, and many others. And this story follows a radio journalist played by Phoenix who is left to take care of his precocious young nephew and forges an unexpected bond over a cross-country trip. The trailer for this movie has narration from Joaquin Phoenix reading his nephew a story that's just deep and profound and moving.
I cried watching the trailer, Brian.
And it's like a 90-second trailer, and it just looks beautiful. Joaquin Phoenix is masterclass always, and yeah, it seems like the script is going to be there for it. So yeah, that's Come On. That'll be in theaters this Friday. And I know it was long, but that is mostly everything that's coming out this week.
We did it,
Brian.
Got through it.
Thank you so much for bringing us the wacky news. I could have done with more wacky, but you know, that amount of wacky will do for this part of it. So that's going to be the weekly upload news section for our YouTube watchers. But we do have a bonus episode that either has come out or is coming out. Chris and I will talk about it afterwards, but it is for the Eternals. So if you've seen,
I don't
the Eternals,
believe in beginnings and endings anymore, Christian.
I'm thinking we're gonna do just a spoiler cast, so you should have seen it. Watch it.
This is news to me. I thought it was gonna be non-spoiler cast.
No, it's gonna be full spoilers. I think right off the bat, just to get through it.
Guys, I didn't see the movie. I'm sorry.
We have time.
Brian.
All right, let me go watch it real quick. I'll be right back.
It's a bit long. It's a bit long, Brian.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Well, in the meantime, while we're waiting on that episode, gentlemen, where can people find more of your work on the internet?
Loyal viewers and listeners, you can find me on Twitter at Chris Conkling, talking about all things nerdy, comic books, television, movies, video games, collectibles. If it's nerdy, I'm talking about it.
And you can find me at True Pop-O-Holic.
Chris is covering all video games that start with Zelda and end with the Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Pokemon, yeah. Start with Zelda and end with Pokemon. A little bit of Mario.
And you can find my band.
Maybe some Final Fantasy.
If you're feeling lucky. You can find my band at Midnight Satire. The music video for Positive NDA is live, and you should watch it. It's really good, getting a lot of really good reception.
Yes.
It's very exciting to have finally released it. No one has still called out the homage. So I'm waiting on that. So Pop-O-Holics, your film buffs, come out and watch that video and let me know what film or films am I homaging towards the end there. But yeah, it's very exciting. Follow the link in the show notes for that. So that'll do it for this part of the weekly upload. And subscribe on your favorite podcatcher of choice if you want to hear all the audio feed. Link in the show notes. Email us popaholicscast@gmail.com. We read every single comment, every piece of feedback. Please send it to us. We're always looking to get better. Recommend guest host. We'd love to have more diverse voices on here. And yeah, that'll do it for this episode. Bye.